It is important when designing a school, classrooms, and its environment to take into account the curriculum and pedagogy to ensure that each learning space is utilised to its full potential. It is also vital to get not only the teacher's perspective on design, however, the students as well. As Reed suggests, young children understand and appreciate the aesthetics of their near environment in both a complex and vicarial manner. A welcoming environment is essential for positive learning, along with an environment that lends itself to the curriculum and teaching methods that go with each learning space. Does each space have adequate light and a free flowing arrangement for the teacher and students to move around? Does the learning space provide a safe and nurturing environment for its students? Is each space useful and purposeful for collaborative learning as well as individual learning? Does the school provide an area for incursions that involve whole school or more than one stage group? And does the school have adequate space for each learning group, outside as well as inside? Each space needs to be determined to be either a high visual stimulus or a low visual stimulus area. As Reed points out, clearly the principles and elements of design create an environment that can be dynamic or serene depending on how they are implemented in the design of the space. From Classrooms of the Future, built pedagogy refers to the notion that physical environments reflect and generate values through their constraints upon social activity and interaction. The following factors are vitally important when designing the school and the classroom structure. In the classroom, round tables enables a free-flowing classroom that is easy to negotiate and move freely. In regards to pedagogical practices, this is also a positive for group and collaborative learning. Students can also move from group work from table to table with ease. The size of the tables will also have to be taken into account to allow for such movement. The natural light in this classroom space is critical to children's physical development. Large windows allow natural sunlight in the classroom, taking into account the sun's position throughout the day. At times, the glare may be a factor in the student's direct vision, or if learning from an interactive whiteboard. Therefore, anti-glare windows or blinds for the morning and afternoon sun may be of benefit. A green space outside for sport and co-curricular activities is essential for the children's health and well-being and can be created as a central area and provide this green space for classrooms to overlook, making the green area the centrepiece for our school. An outside area for recess and lunch not only provides social stimulus for students, it can also double up as an outside learning space or area for incursions. It is also important to have an indoor space for a whole school to come together, for incursions, a space for a community of practice, whole school meetings and assemblies, along with combining the use of sporting, drama, theatre facility. This is also beneficial in wet weather times. Although the hall and centre is expensive in design and structure, the money raised from theatre and drama productions and hiring it out will be another cost-effective venture. Incursions and excursions can provide, as Johnson says, and can do so in a different manner in regards to pedagogical practices to that of which are inside the domains of the classroom. They ensure the students have a very different aspect of social and emotional learning and provide students with a different type of learning in general. This learning space can make children more resilient, especially if it's an overnight excursion or camp or even an incursion at school. Incursions can also make children more resilient. If it's play about anti-bullying, it can enable the children to realise they are not alone, which also provides a safe haven within the confines of school area. Theatre and drama performances allow students to be transported to another place, even though they are still in the confines of the school structure. And in incursions, as Johnson states, provide students with learning opportunities within the secure surrounds of their school and also are a valuable tool when well researched and presented by professionals. Incursions can also be cost effective and have less risk assessments. Beyond the classroom learning space also allows students to visit places in other cities that they may never get the opportunity to do so otherwise. They socialise with other students and are often grouped with students who they may not normally associate with. Students use life skills learned inside the classroom, outside the classroom, Excursions do take a lot of preparation and planning in relation to risk assessments, working within a budget, booking accommodation if it's overnight, and relying on parent helpers as well as special food requirements and first aid needs. It's important that excursions take place in alignment with the curriculum and not just for the sake of it. The key point of any excursion is, as Lorenza states, it is vital for educators and the education system to be able to keep up with the ever-changing and advancing technology that children are exposed to today. Technology in the classroom has many benefits for the students of today. It has to be used responsibly, and in doing so, teaches students valuable life skills as well as educational benefits. It's important to set up a learning space that is safe and nurturing, where students can freely move around with the device. These learning tools have only enhanced the students' collaborative work, and iPads and devices have become an integral part of cooperative learning amongst students. It encourages teamwork and taking it in turns to listen to each other and learn from each other and become more socially and emotionally accepting of each other. When working collaboratively and cooperatively, you want your students to move with their devices and be in a learning space with adequate room for not only the mobile devices but research materials as well. Comfortable chairs or sofas around large round tables or a cafe-style design would work well within this learning space. It enables the students to think and work freely and calmly. Lighting in the electronic learning space would have to be low and without glare to enable students the full benefits of visuals and to be able to work on them without any lighting issues. It is also important to allow students to have unrestricted access to appropriate sites in order to maximise the potential and use of the electronic learning space. The individual learning space, as already suggested, is an area where students need to feel safe and nurtured. Attention needs to be paid to lighting in the classroom with large windows to let in the natural sunlight. A reading corner or area for individual space is also beneficial for students who need quiet time in a learning environment, especially for students who may not be as social. It's important to think about desk arrangement and shape when looking at the individual learning space. Students need to be able to approach the teacher with ease, as well as the teacher being able to move freely within easy reach of each individual. Aesthetics and colours are also important in this space, as often a certain area may need to be an area of low visual stimulus to cater for all learning needs so that the environment is calm and serene. It is important when designing a classroom to incorporate two areas within the given space, one for individual learning and an area for group learning, whether it be back of the classroom or to the side, or access to outside the area. The stimulus of the two vary greatly. Group learning space is for collaborative and cooperative learning along with group work. It's important for this learning space to be tangible and flexible, not only aesthetically, however pedagogically. The student's learning space may benefit from being a high stimulus area full of resources, bright colours, lounges, large tables or cushions in order to help one another work freely, discuss information, feed off each other, and find or discover the information on their own. Having access to materials and books allows this learning space to be intertwined with the electronic space as well when needed. The group learning space can also be an area outside. Using the outside elements and environment also provides a positive stimulus and allows students to have a large space to work within. This learning space should be rich and varied, with electronic equipment full of resources, have adequate space for children to spread out in groups and to be able to spread out their resources as well. This is why often the outside learning space, if the weather permits, is a good area for this type of learning. It has to be engaging, an environment where teachers want every student to be equally engaged with their peers so everyone is working in a cohesive manner, and an area that motivates students. Although Slavin states the following for cooperative learning, I firmly believe that the statement sums up all 5 learning spaces. All 5 have very different, varied and unique aspects of teaching and learning methods. However, all are intertwined to produce the same result.